Rightio, that should have fixed it. I'm flying without my normal controller, so sorry about that. It normally automatically does it for me, but yeah, I haven't got the controller. My desk is a complete mess at the moment. Got paperwork and all sorts of things everywhere. Welcome to the net tonight. Shaky start. We are amateur radio after all, but anyway, Happy New Year and hope everybody enjoyed their festive season. This is my first net control for the year, and undoubtedly won't be the last. Tonight we've got a few watching, and also a few on both RTV1 and RTV2. Tonight I'm going to mix it up a bit. I'm going to actually put RTV2 on first after this. So I'll have the running order. I'll have VK3 TET. He'll come on first and have a segment, and then if you could hand it over to Ian, VK3QL, and then Ian's got quite a few to run through. So Ian's got Mick CH coming on board with him, and also a mystery guest. So look forward to seeing that. And then Ian, I'm assuming you'll take it back at the end of that. And if you could hand it over to Peter on on RTV1, and Peter, if you could then hand it over to Clint on obviously still RTV1, and Clint, if you could hand it over to me at the end there, and then I'll then wrap things up. Just like to acknowledge Mark, VK3PI, watching. We've also got Fred, ZAQ, watching, and Neil from afar, BCU, he's also watching, and we've got John, JCO, who's watching on YouTube. We've also got a couple of VK2s, in fact 3 VK2s at the moment watching on Ian's YouTube. It's John, good old John, VK2 ATU. Love to have you coming back on our net. That would be superb if you could do that. And VK, we've got Derek, VK2 DEK, and we've got David, VK2 DJV. So that's good. Currently got 4 watches on mine, but I haven't logged into my one yet. I can just see from the stream there. And no one on Discord at this point. So I know Peter TLF said he was going to join, but bit of a time difference, so he might have forgotten or not worked out exactly the right time. But anyway, I'm sure Pete will catch up on YouTube. Either that or he's watching on YouTube. And there's 14 watching on Ian's stream at this point in time. So we'll get Pete, VK3 TET, if you could fire up with your splash screen, and we'll get everybody heading over to RTV2 for the festive stuff. So I'll go to my test pattern and you can take over, John.
Okay, so what's all this about? You've probably seen these things in various amusement arcades during your lifespan. The infamous claw, a device that looks very attractive, and you win your little prize. It's quite easy, you know, there's a little bit of skill, and all you have to do is line it up and press the buttons, and away you go. And your little toy can be grabbed and manipulated to go down the chute, so you can collect it. But that's not necessarily the case. Here we go. When you grab it, it sort of gets there and it just slips out of your hands. Many thanks for Big Clive for doing this little presentation. Yes, it's not luck, it's manipulation and, well, deceivery, if you want to call it that. Essentially, there's a solenoid in these things, as you know, but the solenoid is controlled by some logic. At the end of the day, if you don't put enough credits in there to effectively pay for the little toy, it'll always slip out of your hands. So these devices are available on AliExpress. They've been around for years. It's quite interesting to see how they work. I suppose the real interest is in the logic boards, the way that they actually manipulate this device, so the owner of the little machine can actually make some money out of it. The logic boards are relatively old. You'll probably see they've got a simple microcontroller on them, and you know, probably very simple algorithm as well. But needless to say, there's lots of these claws in various shapes and sizes available. If you guys are interested, it's always available on AliExpress at a reasonable cost. If you desire to experiment, what better ways to spend your money? But getting back to the logic boards, you can see that there's a wide range of these available on Ali as well. Here's one example, for instance. It looks pretty archaic from all the logic components on it. Obviously, there's a lot of wiring associated with it for all the control mechanisms, the servo motors, etc., for the actual machine. But the logic behind it is most likely quite simplistic. It just basically probably counts the number of coins, the time, and probably all the toys are the same, so it puts the same weight on it. I was actually wondering about applying some large language models, particularly vision systems, to look at the toy, determine the cost of the toy, and literally apply logic without doing any microprocessor type stuff, literally just talking and giving the prompt all the instructions, and it will actually manipulate the solenoid until you get your money, and it'll pay out with the toy going down the chute. Anyway, if you guys are interested in that, let me know and I'll investigate further. But for now, I hope this little short presentation will give you some insights into how these things work. And believe it or not, there is no luck in it, or at least in the more sophisticated machines. So next time you entertain yourself, be careful. Take care.
My name is the Craw.
The Craw?
Oh, not the Craw, the Craw.
Hi, that was a wrong cut there. It's Ian, VK3 Quebec Lima, and I'd like to mention that the barge hand function is on Sunday, about 10 days' time, and what was I going to say? Just getting some feedback. Yes, so lots of things to see and do, and also John is, Nick, VK3BA has organised 3 tables to demonstrate the microwave activities that are occurring in VK3 and VK5, and also ATV display, plus promoting amateur Radio Victoria. So lots of things to see and do, and by all means, if anyone's got some kit to set up on the tables, Nick would be delighted to hear from you. So contact any of the regular V8 ATVers, and I'm sure they'll be able to pass on the message to Nick. All right, right. I've got a mystery guest, and I'm just looking for him now. A lot of things going wrong today. I had to do a quick setup. Yes. So anyway, I would like to pass it on to a mystery visitor for today, an interstate visitor, VK3 ATV. So John, if you get ready, I'll switch you in, and John's been away for a while, so from our net, and so that's good that he's able to come in. He's got 2 interesting videos from memory that he plans to show, so I might pass it on to you, John. The floor is yours, as they say in the classics. VK3 ATV. This is VK3 Quebec Lima.
Yeah, okay, thanks very much, Ian. For those who may not have seen me before, I'm John. You see the call sign VK2ATU, located in southwest Sydney. I was quite active on the net up until, I think it was probably late last year or halfway through last year. Yeah, and I was going to do a Donald Trump impersonation, like going, you know, guys, yeah, well, this is it, but I won't. So, all right, I recorded the inauguration last night and got through about 3/4 of it. Yeah, anyway, and Joe, VK3TET, you have some very interesting material. I've watched you on Ian's replays for a number of weeks, or virtually since you've been on. And the claw, yeah, how many times I've stood in front of that vending machine, not playing it much myself, and just watched how hopeless it is to win something. Those claws just slip off. But interesting that you say that if you put enough money in, you win. I think I've occasionally seen some people win, yeah, fun. All right. Okay, now I was watching one of Ian's QO100 net replays just recently, and one of the chaps was showing a clover leaf. Now I'll just see if I can not muck this up. Yeah, there we are. We've got his clover leaf. And also he was talking about a halo antenna, which I would like to make because I've got some tubing left over from a project a long time ago. Will come back to me. And this is one I made, a 3-leaf. His was 5. 2 of these, one above the other, and I mounted it on a wooden pole on my car on the roof racks, and I drove around Sydney back in the 90s on 70 centimetres and quite a few of the guys picked me up, and I've still got that video, so I'll threaten to show that one night, or I think I might have way back. Yeah, so, but interesting that the gentleman on the UK net, QO100 net, said that he thought the Halo performed better, because it's a lot less work in making those. You know, they're quite time consuming. All right, well, keep things moving along. I made a video in 2023 of the security exhibition at Darling Harbour in Sydney. I used to work in the security industry, and I still can get in. I still can go. It alternates between Sydney and Melbourne, and yeah, this was 2023. So in the early days, it was mainly all about alarm system components, control panels, cameras, this, that, and the other. Mostly all that, and very little camera gear. But now it's reversed. It's all about CCTV and big screens, where all the money is, and the lowly alarm panel and infrared motion detectors being sort of pushed to the side. So anyway, I'll give it a try. This should go all right. The rear of a large screen projector. Look at all this. You don't get to see the very often. See what it really is. Like this ATV chat.
Folding case monitors. Think you got enough cameras?
Yeah.
Terrific. Okay, thanks.
audio. There we go. Okay. One thing I learned from that exhibition was, which I'm sure most of you guys already know, that those big screens, there's sections that can be swapped out, small sections swapped out when they start to play up. So there we go. All right. Yeah. Okay. That'll do my turn. So across to Ian, VK3QL.
Great, thanks, John. Great to have you back on RTV. And yeah, I'm just getting some feedback. I don't know where that's coming from. I'll just have to change something, I think. Yeah. All right. All right. It's a bit of I've had to do a bit of switching around things to get to input. So I'll pass it on to Mick now. With a bit of luck, I'll remember where I put Mick. There he is. So, all right, Mick, if you're ready, I shall pass it over to you for the next segment. Oh, just before I do, after Mick, I'll do a very short bit, and then I'll pass it on to John. John will then pass it on to Peter, BFG, and then Peter will pass it on to Clint, VK3CSJ. So that's the change in order. John is now been inserted after my transmission after Mick. So I hope that makes sense to people. So that's the latest news that I'm aware of. All right, Mick, I'll switch you in, and here's VK3CH. This is VK3 Quebec Lima. Here's VK3CH.
Okay, good evening everyone, and it says I'm sending audio, so I hope it's all good. All right, Happy New Year to everyone. I think this is the first time I've been on this year. Seems like it. I lose track of everything now. If I don't write stuff in the diary, I don't know, it's not like how I used to be. But anyway, okay. The show from VK2 ATV, I'm wondering how big the power bill is for all these tellies and everything else that's being powered. Like that whole conference is drawing. I'm imagining there'd be a pretty big switchboard powering it all. But that's how you go. All right, Ballarat Hamfest, yes, we've got a table booked, and we'll put the XYL in charge of that, and we might be part of the exhibit with the microwave stuff. At the end of my presentation, you'll see why. You guys might remember the frame that I had everything on when I used to go to King Lake. Well, there's the frame now. It's sort of been all stripped back and going to be redesigned, and some of the aluminium tubing that had the 23 centimetre and the 2.4 gig will be altered, so I had to take the dish off so there's nothing in the way for when it gets re-engineered. So that will be contingent on me getting access to the workshop I use in Thomastown. But the guy who runs it's on holidays, and he basically said, when the sunshine's shining, I'll be out on the bay in my boat. When the weather's bad, I might be back. So I'm waiting for bad weather. I don't think I'm going to get much, but anyway, I'll ring him up, say, after the weekend and see how we go. All right, this thing arrived in the mail today, a buck converter. So I'll be using that to power my video camera, which only likes 11.1 volts. And I used to use a 240 volt inverter, but I thought, that's overkill. When it arrived in the mail, that looks all neat now, but on the side, there were a lot of wires, I don't know, about the thickness of a match poking out just from the component side to get really fine wire cutters and just neaten that up just so nothing bad happens. Alright, so we'll go on to the video. Hang on, I've just got to click that. Hang on, no. Alright, I'll just show you the pictures first. Where are we? Okay, still sending audio. Alright, there's the 2.4 gigahertz printed circuit board antenna that I'll be using instead of the 1.5 too heavy big panel antenna. They reckon that's got a gain of about, 12 dB. The panel, of course, was about 24, I think, but I've just got to really cut the weight down. Here's a picture of what the inside of the car looks like now, but the video will describe that more. And you can see that here is the ID51, which is actually over the top of the existing 7100. So yeah, squeezing everything in. So there'll be room for the buck converter. I'm not quite sure whether it'll go yet, but we'll decide. And there's the 3 radios on the lift-up flap. So you've got the IC905, the ID5100 just for liaison on 70 centimetres, and the IC705 feeding the 3.4 stuff. So there you go. So let's see if I go back to me and I click that. Okay, I've got 2 separate videos, so I will play them in turn. So here's video number 1. Hoping this all works. I didn't move that. This is the bus bars. So you've got your coming from the car battery. There's the relay that when you turn the accessory in the car or the car's running, that picks up and actually allows the battery voltage to go to everything. Otherwise, when the car's switched off, the radios are isolated. Okay, here's the IC905, the main transmitter unit, and that's the CX10G giving you the 10 gigs option. So I managed to carefully disconnect these and take them off the base, the base I used to have. So all the heat shrinking you see here, I left as is, so they're still sealed. There's the connection ready, Ethernet connection for the IC905 head. And what I was going to do is I was going to install the radios along here so they don't move, but the space is too tight and the viewing angle won't be any good. So what I'm going to do is put them on the top flap, but I haven't done that yet. So it's back to Bunnings to get a few tools and some brackets and screws and stuff. So that's the status of everything so far. Okay, so that's the first slot, and yeah, various trips to Bunnings, and inevitably you forget something. And Bunnings is only about 10 minutes away from this house, which is just as well, because I sort of get this thing, oh yeah, I need this and I need that, and it's only when you sort of see it together that you decide what you're going to do. Anyway, I'll play you video number 2. And the actual radio controlling units at the bottom. Okay, we've installed the stand that the radios go on, and if you see behind here, it's just as simple as, if I can move that out of the way, just the plate with a turnbuckle, and that goes in to a hook on the back, so that just sits there. The weight of all that mat keeps it held down. And there's your 3 radios and the actual radio controlling units at the bottom. So over the roof we're going to put some roof racks and have the aerials out the back, but that's a future job for next week. So that's the state of play at the moment. Yep, so that's how things are at the moment. Of course, some of the cables look a bit messy. We'll loom them up and cable tie them and stuff when we get ready. So yeah, it's I've got some roof racks, so we're going to engineer something that will just sit on the car and just slightly overhang on the back above me. And the frame will go, what it's doing is it's going to have a new hole drilled just in the centre here, and then it'll go over a screw and drop down, and a lock nut if it needs be, and I'll just twist it into position, and the coax will come off and drop to the radios below, and the grid pack will be the same thing. There'll be a second one for the grid pack. So yeah, I'll see on the weight lifting them up over my head how I go with that. If it's too much, then I can still use the 2 tripods, but the whole idea is so the way everything's engineered, the wind can go sudden gusts and nothing gets knocked over. So instead of 11 things that I have to set up, there'll only be 4 things to set up and pack up when we come home. And also all this pulling it out of the car and setting them up when you actually get on site, like at King Lake or wherever you're going. So yes, I'm hoping to try and make things a bit easier. All right, that's all my news. So yep, I'm handing it back to Ian. So we'll just put the test screen back up. So yep, hope to see you all at Ballarat. And if I do get access to the workshop in time, yeah, it'll be a complete finished deal for people to look at as part of whatever Nick's showing, which I'm sure after I saw from last year will be pretty good. Cheers all, catch us later.
Thanks for that, Mick. That was great. That's very interesting. The progress so far on that portable setup. Yeah, it's going in leaps and bounds. I'll keep moving along. There's a couple of things I was going to mention. Oh, the weather. You mentioned the weather. With a bit of luck, I'll keep audio. The weather forecast for the next few days. We've had, for those who have not experienced Melbourne weather for the last few days, we've had a lot of days over 30. And so we got some cool weather coming. So actually the next few days, Mick, I suppose the sun is shining. So after the weekend, you might have a bit cooler weather for access to the workshop. I just thought I'd throw that in. And let's see where we go. That's it. So the next thing I'll do is a quiz. All right, I'll do the play out segment, Goodbye from Lucy, and a list of the ATV stations that access the repeater, as far as I'm aware, and hand it over to John. So I'll drop carrier on the QSO card that comes up at the end of the end of transmission. So John, if you'd like to stand by. John VK3 ATV is the next station to come up. So I'm signing off now.
Good evening, everyone. It's John, VK3 ATV in Williamstown. Thanks, Ian, and thanks, Richard, for hosting or net controlling this evening. I shouldn't say host. I've been fairly busy over the Christmas break, or the end of the year break. I managed to finally get around to fixing my DATV Express transmitter. So I took the old Mitsubishi module amplifier and preamplifier out of it, and put the blue chip amplifier in, which is the SHA 7008, I think, described on VK3RTV website. So I did the modification to that. Ended up getting about 2.5 watts out of that one, so that was quite good. So I put that back in and had DVB S2 back again. So at the moment I'm using a high-des DVB-T transmitter, and I also actually had to fix the high-des transmitter as well. I tried that recently and it didn't work. Worked out that I had, after many times rejecting the upgrade to Windows 11, had inadvertently said yes eventually, which is probably what they expect you'll do. Press the wrong button. So I upgraded Windows 11, and the UART driver that allows the PC and the high-des to talk wouldn't work with Windows 11, so I had to find a new version of that. That driver. Originally thought I had to get some new hardware because Windows was telling me the hardware is not compatible with Windows 11, but I managed to do a search online and find a new driver, so the high-des is back up again. And I have finally got the ports down 4 working. So I'll give you a quick look at that. I don't have a Lime SDR, I had a Pluto. which I was going to build, was going to use for the earlier version of Portsdown 2020 with the Pi 3. Now I'm using built the Portsdown 4 with the Pi 4, Raspberry Pi 4, and using the little 13 watt AliExpress amplifier. So I'll give you a quick look at that. I'll just move the camera, stay on the one camera. So you can see here, this is the Raspberry Pi 7-inch screen, and the Raspberry Pi mounted in the back there, very similar to what Neil's done, but I think he's actually put his Lime SDR on the back here as well. So very neat little package, that one. That drives the Pluto, the Adam Pluto, which then drives RF into the little relatively inexpensive amplifier. We'll probably zoom in a little bit, give you a closer look at those. So that's a little amplifier with the 12 volt to the 24 volt up converter on it. So so that's it. That's all that's required for the Portsdown 4. So it's there's a little bit of setting up to do, but it's relatively easy to get on air with that. Just to give you an idea, because I didn't use the Lime SDR, that's actually, I've got that to run on DVB-S with a 4000 symbol rate, and have managed to activate VK3 RTV with about a bit over 1 watt. I unfortunately don't get a lot out of that little 13 watt amplifier. I'm probably only getting a little bit over 1 watt out of it, but I'm not driving it as hard as it could be. I could probably put an amplifier, a little throttled amplifier between the Pluto and that amplifier. The Pluto was spec'd to drive to about 8 dBm. I'm getting 0 dBm out of it, so I probably need about 10 dB gain to drive the other amplifier properly. So I'll have a look at that next. In terms of costing, the Raspberry Pi 4 about $75. The touchscreen was about $100. The case for it was about $55. The Pluto's round about $400. And the little amplifier $55. So all up, that was about $685 Australian to get an ATV transmitter, DVB-S, at HD on RTV. Some people might need a little bit more power, but I'm fairly fortunate here. I don't need a lot of power. So now I've got the DATV Express, which gives me DVB-S2 at HD, the Portsdown 4, which gives me DVB-S at the moment at HD, and the high des, which gives me DVB-T at full HD, so the 920 by 1080, which is what I'm operating at the moment. So yeah, fairly busy with transmitter projects. Just caution for people. I was going to say a trap for beginners, but it's not. It's something anybody can do, including myself. I have a coax switch. You can see up there near the VSWR meter. For the 4 transmitters. I've actually still got my analog transmitter here as well. So I've got four position switch, and I can switch between the four transmitters. Always remember to turn the transmitter off before you switch antennas. Unfortunately, I wasn't really paying that much attention the other day. I was moving between transmitters and just flicked the antenna switch and left the DVB Express running for about an hour. So I've cooked the blue chip. So the repairs that I did over the Christmas New Year break, I'm going to have to do again. Luckily, I have another blue chip, and I'll probably order a couple more off online. So yes, if you've got a multi-transmitter setup and you've got a coax switch, always remember to turn your transmitter off before you switch the antennas. Okay, that's about it from me tonight. So if you've got any questions about building, obviously you can't build a DATV Express anymore, but if you've got any questions about the high des or the ports down 4, I might put a bit of a presentation together about the ports down 4, and it is very simple. I mean, not as simple as the high des, but cheaper than that. So got any questions, please send them through on the email. Alright, I'm going to hand over to Peter, 3BFG, and you will have to switch over to VK3RTV1 if you are if you're watching live on air. So I can see Peter's got his banner up. So I'll play my thanks for watching, and you can switch over and let's see what interesting things Peter's got to say. He's certainly been doing a lot of work on the repeater, which seems to be working quite well at the moment. So thanks for watching. This is John, VK3ATV in Williamstown.
They should have some audio there now. It's always the audio, isn't it? Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Peter, VK3BFG. It amazed me in terms of what you come up with, and I always suspected that there was what says you're not going to win. Not being a gambler, I'm sort of absolutely convinced that slot machines and everything else are true. But you've just proved about the claw. So, I guess it's a money-making thing, and that's fair enough. G'day to John, VK280U. Lovely to see you coming through again, John, and let's hope that we see yourself and your shirts more often. Great stuff, and certainly I can see the security industry is very much oriented, and multiple screens, obviously, which is certainly applicable where you've got cameras all over the place monitoring different things. Well, last night I went for a bit of a fly on my own in the Melbourne Aviation Group's just $130,000 worth of avionics upgrade in it. And I can't say that I've mastered it yet, but either John you might be happy to come and be my eyes outside while we go and fly, and I work out somehow how to. I mean, you know, that's a given, but there's a lot of interesting stuff in this avionics, and you'll both be into it, and also to use it as well. It's all touchscreen, by the way. In turbulence, you probably have to put your hand a bit. You can also use the knobs. There are knobs that are there, but significantly it is touchscreen. So it's the latest. It's a little bit smaller. Well, it's a lot smaller than the G1000 in the Cessna, but the technology is. So we don't hear it. Yeah. So the technology has been. Well, talking about ports down 4. The Eastern and Melbourne Districts Radio Club transmitter is now looking forward to seeing monthly transmissions from them. They'll put their guest speakers on every fairly well, because it'll be on RTV2, but it won't go much longer than maybe 9:30 to 10 o'clock. So it won't Clint's ASV transmissions. He'll basically take over pretty much after the 22. Also had a telephone call today from Maitland, VK5AO. Now, g'day Maitland, if you're watching it on VK3QL's YouTube. And he said he'd have to get his wife to work the search for him. Maitland is one of the very, very old original ATV operators and he operated on a range of frequencies, actually, not just on one. And they also used to transmit across the bay to other stations to hear from Maitland. Right now I'm running on RTV, we're running on a Helibox, and it seems to have, and I do not have any more combo receivers that haven't exhibited a fault. In fact, we've got a few empty cases there where stuff's been thrown out, really. And they're very easy to work on. I really like it from the point of view that I can disassemble the thing very easily, and then a case that's a bit better for operations up on Mount View, and also to add the little bit of logic that we need to so that we switch between the domestic tuner, which is the DVB-T input, via the down converter, and also the input as well. And the mechanical side of the Heliboxes is and the combos, they were getting lighter and lighter, and the F connectors couldn't support the connector bending down. So yeah, they're a bit under stress. So we may convert gradually over to Heliboxes over time of those units on order, and may in fact install those on the west beam as well to see if we can get back to where it was originally, and that will bring Mick in and any other stations that are relatively something to do. Last last week I think I told you about a book I was reading. Well, I'm reading a new book, and this is what it's called, The Forgotten. It is sort of an avionics type thing, but it's about 500 American airmen that got shot down over, and they were collected by the Chetniks there and assembled up in the mountains. And there was an organisation from the OSS, which is the Office of Secret Service. Anyway, it was then the Secret Service organisation. How to get these 500 now airmen that are actually up in the mountains in Yugoslavia. So it's the Forgotten 500, and sort of avionics related. So there we are. Thought you might be interested in that one. So that's it for me for tonight. So Clint, if you'd like to 55 at the moment, but if you come up on 12:46, you should be able to slot in pretty well straight away. So this is, we'll catch you all later, and then it's been great tonight. Well done.
There I am. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think it's going to work okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yep, good. All right. Dropping remote controls everywhere. Oh, go. Remote controls everywhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. Yep, okay. Oh, okay. Good evening, everyone. Peter, your transmission was broken up a little bit. A lot of digital delay and audio breakup. Overall, I think everybody managed to get a fairly good idea of what you were saying. I managed to follow you, but yeah, your transmission was the video was delayed, like slow mo, and the audio was breaking up a little bit, but it would kind of catch up. It's one of those sort of SR things where you got to turn the transmitter off and turn it back on again. So, but I think we all got the gist of what you were saying. So it looks like I'm okay. I'm getting in there okay. Anyway, yeah, g'day to everyone. I've got one of my black kittens mucking around here. So if I go off air all of a sudden, it's because they've pulled the plug out of the socket. John, VK2ATU, it's so fantastic to see you. And it's Gary, I think, the other VK2 friend of yours. What has happened to you two guys? You were so active on the net almost every Tuesday. You've always had something to say, you two blokes, but suddenly you disappeared. So I'm really happy to see at least you, John, come through. And the video you showed was excellent. Those new screens are amazing. I've got a TS, was it a TS Epson TS2000, not the Kenwood radio, but this is a overhead HD projector which I bought years ago. It still produces a magnificent picture, but it's a projector onto a screen. I see these new TV sets, and I think projectors are on their way out. I don't know what the cost was for those TVs, but or big screens, but OLED. I think it was OLED screens, but really impressive. It's very impressive, isn't it? The quality and the resolution capability just dumbfounds me. But yeah, g'day, John, and Happy New Year to you. Good to see you. We've got more of this, okay? And Mick, your amazing VK3CH, amazing setups that you do, excellent work that you do, and the way you document your stuff too is also very good. So, tip my hat off to what you get yourself up to. You must go through a lot of lunch boxes. I don't know where you get your lunch boxes from, probably the local supermarket, but you're the only amateur I know that has good use for lunch boxes. As long as I've seen you on air, you've got a lunchbox somewhere in view. By the way, Mick, I don't know if you're aware, but your presentation you did at the RAOTC luncheon earlier this year. Was it earlier this year? Maybe last year, perhaps. Anyway. That's available to view, listen to at least, on the RAOTC website under the luncheon tab, I think it is. If you're not aware of that, you might want to pick that up or perhaps download it at some stage and maybe run it over the repeater. Excuse me, but it is there, and if you're not aware of it, and there's a whole lot of other, a lot of the luncheons that the RAOTC have, that they're now recording on video, at least the presentation part of it, with the audio from the presentator. So it makes it really interesting, in fact. So just in case you didn't know that. Joe, TET, your presentations are also always excellent and interesting. And I immediately, as soon as you talked about the claw, my vision went straight to Get Smart. And what did you do? You had the video footage from Get Smart, and I thought, well, there it is. I loved that show. They just don't make TV shows like that anymore. But I remember that bit about the claw. It's not the claw. So you did very good in finding that little clip to show. Excellent stuff. All right. Now I've got a book review as well. Noting that it's 9:09 already. A couple of weeks ago, a couple of ATV nets ago, because we've missed two Tuesdays in a row. I said that I'd do a book review on a book. So, despite Peter's interesting review on his aircraft story, this particular story. Let me see. I've got a caption here of the book in question, and this is it. And I think if I bring that up, there's I am. Okay. Now, just quickly, this is a magnificent read. I mean, apart from the fact that it says magnificent obsession, but it is a really, really fantastic read. Every page it's a page turner, and it's worth a read. Just reading the back of the book, it says here that. It was the greatest feat of engineering in the 19th century Australia, but is very nearly collapsed in the face of monumental obstructions or obstacles. The year was 1870, and the mail took 6 weeks to get to England by sea. Australians hungered for the speedy communications a telegraph connection would bring. Engineer Charles Todd promised that he could string up wires on poles from Adelaide over 3,000 kilometres to an undersea cable in Darwin Harbour in just 18 months. It was a wild gamble that became an epic race against time. This is the extraordinary story of the building of the overland telegraph. 3 teams of workers crossed deserts, mountains and rivers in flood, flowing through rough maps that John McDowell Stewart had brought back from his final expedition. They encountered Aboriginal people who had never seen a European and battled crocodiles, mosquitoes, mysterious illnesses and starvation. Drawing on original letters and journals, historian David Duffy has uncovered never-before-published details about this groundbreaking project. This is a tale of obsession and heroism, violence and tragedy, and above all, it's a total compelling yarn. So, yeah, like I say, it is it's a page turner, and if interested in a book to have a bit of a read during the time, got nothing much else to do, I would highly recommend this particular book. I got this from Amazon.com, and I think Big W even have them. It's let's go back to camera one and get rid of that. It is 353 odd pages long. There's a few little section of pictures in the middle of it there as well. And at the front here, there's a little map of where they actually ran this telegraph line through the heart of Australia, which I can just quickly show you there. So that's that whole journey from Adelaide through to Darwin, and then the cable over there going undersea. Our first internet connection, but not really, not the internet as such, but their way of communicating from Australia to European and obviously to the UK. It's an extremely good story, and of course it's based on fact, and probably would make a very good film. It's been suggested that it would be excellent to see that converted into a story. So, Charles Todd's Magnificent Obsession by David Duffy. It's an amazing story and really good read indeed. All right, there was something else too. I think at the moment we have a comet in the skies. Won't be around for too long, but around about this time of the night, actually, if you look to the west, there's a comet Atlas, G3 Atlas. Its orbital period's in the vicinity of 160,000 years, so this is the last time to see it. So if you've got a good location and a good view out to the west, southwest view of the sky, you'll see it just after sunset, around about now actually. There's a possibility, but it is faint. Pair of binoculars, and maybe, just maybe, if you've got a good mobile phone, just take a random shot of the western sky, southwestern sky, and your camera might just pick it up, actually. And I was going to experiment with that to see if it would do that. Otherwise, just go, heavensabove.com is the website to go to, heavensabove.com, for more information on that one and exactly where it is in the sky. All right, so look, the ASV radio broadcast recommences this coming Friday. I've had 4 weeks off. Got back to work this week, and it's only been 2 days back at work, and believe you me, I am over it. I cannot wait to retire. I'm planning another 2 years at least, but I tell you, I could easily put my notice in and say goodbye. I'm just over it. So I'm currently 64 years of age and turning 65 in May. So I mean, I've got a couple of more years there to officially retire, but I'm over this work business, and I've got so much to do behind me. I had 4 weeks off and I did bugger all. So I just went completely lazy mode. Anyway, all right, at 9:15, I think that's it. Like I say, I return back this coming Friday, 10 o'clock on RTV, and HF on 3541 is the main prime frequency that I do the broadcast on, and then and of course through the ATV and Discord and my YouTube channel as well. I think that's about it. So pop it back to you there, Richard. Thanks for doing it, and I think that's it. So VK3 VRS, who's been the convener for the show tonight, is about to take it, so I shall drop off and
Audio. Have I got audio? Yes, I have. Awesome. Wow, big net tonight. Fantastic. Yeah, Joe, you're probably gone now, but yeah, that was a great segment. And like everyone, we all know that those things are rigged. Ian, fantastic segment. John, VK2 ATU. I noticed you on the YouTube chat, and I thought, oh, it's great to see your login again, and surprise, surprise, you came up. So that's fantastic. Love seeing you again, John, and always with some interesting stuff. Right up my alley, by the way. I know a lot of those products. Peter, yeah, like Clint mentioned, don't know what was going on with your transmission tonight, but it was jittery and jumpy and all over the place. Sorry about the changeover, by the way. Clint was on DVB-S2, I'm on DVB-T2, transmitting from my Hides transmitter tonight. So I thought I'd give that a bit of a run. Yes, and Clint, always interesting stuff, as you know. Fan of watching all your stuff. Yeah, just quickly, because of the time, I don't want to dwell on too much, but for those that are interested, and I'm hoping that Stephen VK3 TTF, he's put a fantastic post on Discord for people with GT Media Pros about being able to get the channels off it and share that file around, particularly for people who are new and haven't tuned in before. They can actually download this file and put it straight onto there and know that they've got the channel tuned in already. Stephen, if you're watching this, listening, yeah, jump on the Facebook page as well, and it's over here, this one, Facebook, and sign up there, and if you can post it on there as well, that would be fantastic. That would be a real bonus. Yeah, so maybe I can put that on the screen. Make sure I've still got audio. So there's the Facebook group, so please feel free to join that. I haven't got Discord loaded on there at the moment, but yeah, he's got it on there. Back to me. So yeah, other things that I want to show you tonight. As you know, I'm very busy with hobbies and whatnot, and this weekend I do have an exhibition on. So if anybody's in the Geelong area and would like to see some model trains, great little show down there, which I've taken over the running for the club, or me and my business partners. They were having a bit of trouble trying to get the volunteers within the club and organise it. So we were asked if we would like to manage it for them, and so we have. So it's this weekend. Great little exhibition, 50th for the club. So that's why we had to keep it going. Too important to not. Other news which has been mentioned. The Hamvention for Ballarat. Yes, very important little one, because Nick VK3BA has down there, and he put out an invitation to fellow microwavers and ATVers, and Mark JMA and myself will be there, and we'll be showing off some of the equipment and some of the stuff that we do. So yes, definitely turn up. I haven't got all my stuff together yet because I've been quite busy, but yeah, I'll have something together hopefully before that weekend. So yeah, we'll have a display of microwave with 905s, using ATV as well on analog, and also we will have probably I'll take some transmitters and whatnot to that. So please have that in your diary as well to go and have a look. Very, very good. That's in a nutshell where it's all at the moment. was one other thing, and I forgot to write it down. I'm just trying to think what it was, but I can't remember. So too bad. It'll have to carry on. Thanks everyone who put on some vision tonight. It was great. We've definitely filled the night, and there's a bit of chatter going on. And I think it's that's the other news. I have been playing around a little bit with that fantastic little device with a little node and all that. I've got one coming, but Mark JMA has set up a node at his place, which I've got very, very clear line of sight to. And we've been talking, and Peter, VK3 TLF, is currently in Western Australia, and we've been talking over the internet via radio. So yeah, very, very, very good. So Rob, that disease is spreading to everyone. Anyway, I'm going to call it quits. 24 minutes past 9. That's an hour and 24 minutes of net. Thank you to all our watchers who have stayed. Still got a few there, but we've had a few drop off. So thank you everyone, and I hope you've enjoyed the net, and see you next week.